Alright everybody, Revolver84 here, and today what I want to talk about is some rumours that have been flying around the internet for the last 48 hours, especially in places like YouTube and the forums and such like, about Rainbow Six Siege. So what's flying around is that Ubisoft, in all their wisdom, have decided to remove house, favela, yacht, plane, and to not include the new theme park map in ranked matches once the season restarts. Because obviously we're coming to the end of season 2. The championships are happening right now over the weekend, the 26th of August, and apparently they have made this sort of rumour sort of get hemorrhaged out, leaked out, to perhaps see what the community feels about it before making an official announcement. A bit like the ACOG rumours that you were hearing about Bandit and Jaeger. Now, I think that's a particularly bad idea. I think it's absolutely stupid. In fact, when I first heard it, I couldn't believe it. I was like, that's absolute madness. I was half asleep when I very first started reading these rumours because it sort of broke first thing this morning. I was like, that makes absolutely no sense. More so when they tell you the reasons why. So one of the reasons why they were going to do it is because they want to simulate ranked for the Pro League, for ESL. So obviously in ESL, some of the maps, including ones like Plane, aren't already included in the Pro League. And what they want to do is they want to simulate a Pro League in ranked, to help the ranked players practice. Right. And another reason, which I couldn't believe, was so they wanted to pull these maps from ranked so they could, quote, make improvements to the maps. They see them as upgrading the maps. Now, like I say, I was half asleep when I was first sort of started hearing these rumours, and the more and more I was looking at it, the more and more they were out there, and I was like, this cannot possibly be true. I couldn't believe what I was seeing, what I was reading, and what I was watching on YouTube. It made absolutely no sense. So I had to think about it for pretty much all day today, and I've come up with a couple of reasons why it can't possibly be true. So for anyone that doesn't know, I work in software development. That's my full-time job. And one of the reasons they said they wanted to remove these maps was to, quote, make improvements to the maps. Now, when I stopped to think about this for a fraction of a moment, I was thinking, what are they talking about? These are not physical places. These are not buildings that need to be sealed off to stop people from walking through during renovation or anything like that. They're not real places. They are virtual environments. Also, in software development, you have tracks, so there is not just one single environment and that's it, where everyone in the world goes to visit this one map. That's not how it works. Those maps are duplicated over potentially dozens of different environments. So for example, the most common one that you'll be aware of is the PTS, the public test server. That is one environment, but it is not the environment. The environment that everyone uses is called production. That's the production environment. Now, in general software development, there is at least a couple of environments. There is a unit environment, there is an integration environment, there is a production environment, and it's not unusual for there to be things like environments for sandboxing, regression, things like that. So to take these maps out because they wanted to do improvements to them makes no sense. What you would do in reality would be to make any improvements you wanted to do in your development environments and project them and move them down through the tracks. So they would start off in unit, they would go through integration, not that there would be much integration for maps, but you get my point. It would eventually get through the public test server, down into the production environment. They would not have to physically pull the maps out to do that. They are just making improvements to the code, and then that code change is filtering down through the environments as it progresses through its development life cycle. It's not a physical place. There is no physical need or practical need to remove anything for the sake of making improvements to it. That was the first thing that made no sense to me, which is why I'm strongly suggesting this is absolute bollocks. The next reason why I think it's absolutely bollocks is because of the whole idea that they could use ranked for pro players to practice. Right. Stop right there. Pro players, the entire population of pro players, the amount of pro players who go to places like Gamescom, like what's happening over this weekend, who take part in the ESL League, we are not talking about a massive amount of people here. We are talking about the very best ones, probably less than 100. You know, the likes of your Canadian, the likes of Boosie, Shatter, people like that. They are very much in the less than 100. In fact, that's being generous. The ones who actually get any good at it are probably more like 50. On top of that, you've got the people who are trying and take part in the cups and things that happen, you know, every day, every weekend, things like that in the ESL. They would register up to the ESL with a team. They would join a competition and they would engage in the competition. How many is that? Fractional again. We are not talking about a couple of hundred this case. We are probably talking about a few thousand. So we're probably talking about 6 to 8, perhaps as much as 12,000 people. At best, 12,000 people probably are engaged at any one time in ESL R6S, Rainbow Six. The vast majority of players of this game are not anything to do with Pro League or even attempting to play in the ESL League. The vast majority, 97, 98% of the entire population, whatever it is, 1.2 million people or whatever it was supposed to be last time, all them people are not pro leaguers. So why on earth would they have changed the entire game for the benefit of what is a fraction of a percent of the entire population that play this game? Makes no sense. Now let's not forget, it's not the ESL and the Pro League players how Ubisoft gets its money. It gets their money from your average player, your casual player, your normal person, your person who comes home from college, school, work, whatever you want to call it, has the tea, sits down and plays Rainbow Six for a couple of hours casually. Not sitting studying maps, nothing like that. That's where their money comes from. Why on earth would they want to piss off their target market and audience where most of their revenue stream comes from for the sake of keeping a couple of people happy so they can compete in a better environment? Also, there is custom matches. There is custom matches, and on PC you can choose which maps you don't want to be considered for when you're searching anyway. What possible benefit is it if you can make custom matches to the maps you want to practice? In fact, you could literally just recognise that you have weaknesses on certain maps and only ever work them ones. That makes no sense either. Now my final point, I'm not gonna lie, I'm just assuming this, right? I've got no qualifications in law, international law, you know, anything to do with anything in relation to the legal system whatsoever. But common sense tells me that there is a legal issue here, because at the day of purchase in the game, maps such as House, Plane, they were the fundamental elements of the game. You were purchasing the game, and that was the part of the product you were buying. It's the equivalent of buying a car from a garage. You buy a brand new car from a garage. That's your car. You've agreed that's your car. That means that it has 4 wheels, has a steering wheel, has doors. That's your car. You've bought that. Similarly, you've bought Rainbow Six Siege with those things there, with those maps there. They are elements of it. That's what you purchased. Now, you might take your car back to the garage. It might get updates every once in a while. It might get its maintenance, might get its oil changed. You know, it goes through its MOT, things like that. Similarly, with the software, it will get updates. Defects get resolved. Improvements get made for performance, things like that.
Oh shit, sorry mate.
And that's absolutely fine. But what they don't do is you don't turn up to the garage and they take off a wheel and say, that's your car, thanks very much, where's me money? They don't say that because you've purchased that car as a whole car. They would not take a wheel off after you've bought the whole car, including the wheel. Similarly with this software, you've bought their maps. You've bought their maps as part of the product that you purchased when you purchased the game. So surely that equates to the same sort of situation. You've purchased a product which is then taken away. So some of it has been taken away. Surely that has got to be some sort of legal problem, some sort of legal issue there where some sort of law has been broken, you would assume. Now, like I say, I'm the solicitor. I don't know. Correct us if I'm wrong. There's bound to be someone out there that watches these videos that can tell me if I'm speaking absolute bollocks regarding that. But if that was the case, what do you think of me other points as well? Do you think these rumours are right? Do you think they are even true? Do you think that sort of change would improve the game or hurt the game? Personally, I think it would hurt the game. But I'm very open to what people's opinions are. I want to hear these things. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that bell button for more similar videos. Thanks very much for watching.
Marked.
All the best. Ta-da.